Is infidelity a deal breaker? It's a question that keeps many of us up at night. And one of the biggest debates is, who cheats more, men or women? Let's dive into the data and see what it really says. For a long time, the common belief was that men are far more likely to cheat. And historically, the numbers back this up. But things are changing. Let's look at the stats. The General Social Survey, one of the longest-running surveys of its kind, found that about 20% of men and 13% of women reported having been unfaithful to their spouse. So, men still lead, but the gap is definitely closing. Some newer studies, especially those focusing on younger generations, show the numbers are getting even closer. The Institute for Family Studies reports that among adults aged 18 to 29, women are slightly more likely to have cheated than men. This suggests a significant generational shift in relationship dynamics. So, why do people cheat? The motivations can be very different for men and women. For men, it's often about opportunity and physical attraction. They might feel a lack of sexual satisfaction in their primary relationship or simply act on an impulse when an opportunity rises. It's not always about emotional dissatisfaction, although that can certainly be a factor. For women, the reasons are often more complex and tied to emotional needs. A common trigger for female infidelity is feeling emotionally disconnected, unappreciated, or lonely in the relationship. They might seek an affair to find the emotional intimacy and validation they feel is missing at home. The affair becomes a way to feel seen, heard, and desired. Of course, these are generalizations, and every situation is unique. Sexual dissatisfaction is also a major driver for women, just as emotional neglect can be for men. The lines are becoming increasingly blurred. Beyond gender, other factors play a huge role. Age is a big one. The likelihood of cheating tends to peak in middle age for both men and women. For men, it's often in their late 50s, while for women, it's a bit earlier, in their mid-40s. Relationship duration also matters. The longer a couple is together, the higher the statistical probability that one or both partners might be unfaithful at some point. Things like income, education level, and even how religious someone is can also influence the likelihood of cheating. So, back to the big question, who cheats more? The simple answer is that men still cheat slightly more overall, but the gap is shrinking, especially among younger couples. It's no longer the clear-cut, one-sided issue it was once perceived to be. The conversation is shifting from who to why. Now, let's talk about the aftermath. How long do people wait before confessing? This is where it gets really interesting. There isn't a simple answer, because many people never confess at all. A study from the University of Notre Dame found that a significant number of people who cheat never tell their partner. For those who do confess, the timing varies wildly. Some confess almost immediately out of guilt, while others might wait for weeks, months, or even years. Often, the confession only happens when they're about to be caught. Men are sometimes more likely to confess if they believe it will salvage the relationship, while women may confess as a way to end a relationship they feel is already over emotionally. With the rise of dating apps, the landscape of infidelity has changed dramatically. A study published in the journal Computers and Human Behavior looked at Tinder users who were already in relationships. They found that a surprising number were using the app for reasons other than finding a partner, like curiosity or as an ego boost. However, a significant portion did use it to seek out physical or emotional affairs. These apps make it easier to connect with new people, lowering the barrier to cheating and blurring the lines of what even counts as infidelity. So, how likely are men and women to cheat in their lifetime? Given the statistics we've discussed, the lifetime probability is quite significant. When you combine the 20% of men and 13% of women who admit to it, it means a substantial number of relationships will face this challenge. And remember, these numbers are based on self-reporting, so the actual figures could be even higher. The reality is that infidelity is a common, albeit painful, part of the human experience. This brings us to another tricky question. What actually counts as an affair? Is it just physical? Or does emotional cheating count too? Most experts and couples would agree that infidelity is any breach of the agreed-upon emotional and/or sexual exclusivity in a relationship. This can include anything from sending flirtatious text messages and having secret emotional conversations online to a full-blown physical affair. A micro-cheating could be something as simple as consistently liking someone else's photos on social media with romantic intent, or having a secret lunch date you hide from your partner. The key is secrecy and the betrayal of trust. If you feel you have to hide it from your partner, it's probably crossing a line. Now for the million-dollar question, can a relationship survive infidelity? The answer is a cautious yes, but it's incredibly difficult. It requires both partners to be fully committed to the healing process. According to therapists, the chances of recovery depend on several factors. Was this a one-time mistake or a pattern of behavior? Is the person who cheated genuinely remorseful and willing to do the work to regain trust? Is the betrayed partner willing to try and forgive, even if they never forget? Successful recovery is not about going back to the way things were. The old relationship is gone. It's about building a new, stronger, and more honest relationship from the rubble. This process is often long and painful and almost always requires the help of a professional couples counselor. The person who cheated must be willing to be completely transparent, answer difficult questions, and cut off all contact with the third party. The betrayed partner has to work through feelings of anger, hurt, and betrayal and learn to trust again. It is a monumental task. So, how do you heal and move past it? For the betrayed partner, the first step is to allow yourself to feel all the emotions. The shock, the anger, the sadness, it's all valid. Don't rush yourself. Seeking individual therapy can be incredibly helpful to process the trauma. Reconnecting with your own support system of friends and family is also crucial. For the partner who was unfaithful, the work involves deep self-reflection to understand why it happened. It's not about blaming your partner or the relationship. It's about taking full ownership of your actions. Transparency is non-negotiable. This means offering access to phones, emails, and social media accounts, not as a punishment, but as a way to rebuild that shattered trust. Ultimately, the decision to stay or leave is deeply personal. There is no right or wrong answer. Some couples find that working through infidelity makes their bond stronger and more honest than ever before. For others, the betrayal is too deep, and the trust can never be fully restored. In those cases, ending the relationship might be the healthiest choice for both individuals. If you or someone you know is struggling with this, please consider reaching out to a licensed therapist or a relationship counselor. They can provide the tools and support needed to navigate this incredibly difficult journey. In summary, while men historically have cheated more, the gap is closing fast. Motivations differ, with men often driven by opportunity and women by emotional needs, but these are just general trends. The digital age has complicated what cheating even means. Healing is possible, but it requires immense work, honesty, and often professional help. It's not about forgetting, it's about deciding if you can build something new and stronger together. Thanks for watching. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe for more deep dives into relationships and psychology. See you in the next one.